Hello, this is Talios, and this is my tutorial guide for my Beerus 236S route. So I know a lot of people have been asking for this, and it would have been done sooner, but I got struck with COVID, so that was fun. I'm mostly recovered now, luckily, and here we are. So in this video, I will be going over the routes that I've done and the routes you can do. And there's a lot of customization to them too, so you can do what you want. Um, I'll have the routes, a slow-mo version of them so it's easier to see, and I'll explain the inputs as the slow-mo is going on. And then I'll also include a couple errors that can happen when you're doing the combo, so it's a little bit easier to understand how to fix those errors that you run into, that I know a lot of people have run into a good amount. And yeah, let's get started. So this is the original route that I discovered at first during my Twitch stream when the Season 4 update came out. This is the run-of-the-mill basic one that I first made. Alright, so now let me explain the inputs and have this slow-mo so it's easier to understand. So 2M, 5M, 236H8. Now, you do slightly delayed 2H here. You want a slightly delayed 2H because you want them closer to you so that they're not too high and screw up the combo later on. Because you can get the 214L stuck onto the ground and you won't be able to continue it if you have them too high. And also, if they're too high too, the combo would just drop as well because they won't hit the 236S. So there's that as well. So yeah, you want to slightly delay that 2H so they get a little bit lower to you, and then you can 2H into 236S. You do, so after that 236S, you do super jump install. I hold HS, the super dash button, because I play on controller, so it's easier for me. You could hold S as well after doing this, but that's easier for people with arcade stick, but you can do it too if you want. So you do super jump install J.M J.214L. Then you do delayed J.M to right before you hit the ground, hit those two orbs, run up 2H. Now you don't want to get too close to the corner. Some characters it doesn't matter, but if you get too close, things will screw up, and then you'll have to either one, you'll drop, or two, you have to do a fix that I'll explain later on. So you do it again, J.M, super dash install to J.M 214L, and then here you do J.M. You do J.M faster than you normally would, so you hit just the two top orbs. Then you do 2H, SD, J.LLL, 214L. You can do 214L. God, I can't speak. 214M here, and you still get sliding. You don't have to add the vanish. The vanish was just there for damage. Okay, so one thing I don't have a clip of, but I can explain it, is so when it comes to doing that original route scaled, and you can do it with the harder version, which I'll show in a second as well. So when you're adding buttons to the start of it, so let's say 5LL, 2M, 5M, 236H8, right? So when you add the two extra buttons, you have to delete, or I guess get rid of, two buttons at the end of the combo. So let's say, for example, you do 5LL here, right? At the start, 5LL. So if you go straight to the end, to here. So if I added 5LL at the start, since I added two buttons, and I do super dash into three buttons, I would, right here, I would just do super dash JH into 214M. Because I have to get rid of two buttons because I added the 5LL at the start. That's how it works for this route. And it depends on which finisher or ender you do as well. But usually if you add one or two buttons at the start, you have to get rid of one or two buttons at the end. And that's kind of just how it goes with this route. Now this is a better route that's slightly harder, at least for me, but it gives you more damage and more meter. Okay, so here's a slow-mo and explanation of this route. So it works as mostly the same way as the original route does, but with some changes. So here, you do J.M. 214L just like normal. So what you do here instead is you do After 2 and 4L, you hold upright, or the 9 direction in keyboard notation. Or numpad notation, I should say. So you hold the 9 direction, so you float after the 2 and 4L. So you get closer to the orbs. And you get all 3 orbs. Run up 2H. Do it again. You hold float after 2 and 4L. Hold upright float. And so what you do here is, because you use all 3 orbs, you super jump J.L. J.M, J.L. J.M, J.C, J.L. J.M, J.H, it's 2 and 4L or 2 and 4M, into vanish. So it works kind of the same as the original route, but you don't use the SD at the end, you just super jump into buttons, and you float after the 2 and 4L before J.M, so you could hit all 3 orbs easier. So this one was actually found recently. I found a universal version of this combo, which I don't think we had before, but I would have to check. But so this is a universal one you could do in place of the other ones. This one's a little bit easier, and it's universal, but you lose that on damage meter, and that's really about it. So here it is. Alright, so here's a slow-mo and explanation of this route. So this one's a pretty, well, I should say it's just different in every way, just about, except for the first part. So here you do J.M, super jump J.M, 241L. So here you'll see that the third orb is hit, which wasn't like the other ones. So what you do here is, instead of floating towards them, you want to float up back in the opposite direction and then delay J.M, because you only want to hit the middle orb. You want the 2 bottom orbs to still be there. So then you do super jump J.M, normal jump up J.M. If you jump towards them, the combo will drop. So you do jump J.M into J.H, land 2H, SD, J.M, jump cancel J.M, all hits a J.S into 214L. The vanish again. So for this one, you can't 214M, to my knowledge at least, after the JS. So you have to get the sliding from vanish. It sucks, but it's due to the hit stun of the combo, because this one has more hits, and you don't get the free 214M because there's no orb on the grounds, because you use all of them when you 2H. So yeah, so that is a universal route you can do, and it's honestly probably the easiest out of all of them so far. So here's another 236S route you could do. This one, if you do not like the double 236S because you feel like the run 2H is just a little too hard to hit online, or you want it just to be more consistent, this is a route that uses 236S but doesn't use another one. It just straight up it's easy, and it's, if you just find it the other one's too difficult, this is probably the one for you. So, slow-mo and explanation again. So the start is just about the same. 2M, 5M, 236H8, delayed 2H. So again, here you do the float. You don't have to do the float, but if you want the damage, you do the float. And then after you do normal jump, JM, JM, JH, land, you land 5M, JL, JM, JL, JM, JS, 214L. So actually it's J.L.L, jump cancel J.L.L, JS, 214L, but you get it. And then you do vanish and extend. Okay. So here's one of the errors that I've seen a lot of people have. Here is hopefully an explanation, because it's a little confusing for me because I haven't found the full reasoning for why it happens yet. But here it is. Okay. So if you notice, the 214L right here seems like it kind of gets stuck in the ground for a little bit, and then the enemy instantly attacks. So the only explanation I have found is if, one, you hit them while they're too high in the air, and it's character specific too. Sometimes I've had it happen on some characters, and some characters it never happens, and it's random too. It's really weird. There's no consistent way to really replicate this that I have found so far. but there's ways to avoid it. So the first way to avoid it is just make sure they're low to the ground as possible when you do the 2H orb, while keeping, you know, everything the same. And then you do instant super jump J.M 214L as fast as possible that you can do, and most of the time that will solve your problem. If you do the timing fast enough and right, that shouldn't happen, but it can happen. So that's just something to be aware of. But that is a somewhat fix for the issue. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier in the original combo route section at the beginning of the video. This is a fix for when you run too far into the corner on some characters. Okay. So you see there, I ran directly into the corner. Like, I ran straight directly in to the corner when I did the 2H. Close corner as I can be. And when I 2-1-4-L, that orb got hit instead of this orb. So the fix for this is actually pretty simple. So in the universe route, you remember how I said you had to float up back? You do the same thing here. Hit that orb, super jump, J.M J.H, into 2-1-4-M, and you hit all 3 orbs. Originally, when you were doing this would drop, but the float up back saves you at this ender if you screw up and run too far into the corner. So this is a fix if you do have that issue a lot, and a way to not prevent it, but to basically still have the same outcome. So I hope you enjoyed. I will have, again, as I said earlier, I'll have all the inputs in the description. Here's a little TOD for you. So yeah, I'll have everything in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter or message in the comments. I will answer as much as I possibly can. And thank you for watching. Peace.